New reports on Israeli media quoting anonymous sources from private meetings last week between Prime Minister Netanyahu and White House security advisor Jake Sullivan. While the topic not acknowledged publicly, the source saying that Sullivan told Netanyahu it would be hard to offer support to Israel should Jerusalem follow through with the bills. Further, Sullivan allegedly adding that, quote, the liberal democratic public in the United States and we in the administration do not like the direction that you're going in with regards to the judicial reform, end quote. Netanyahu, meantime, reportedly assuring that he would not pass the legislation as currently presented and would work to ensure a broad consensus across the Knesset. Foreign officials in power is not the only ones continuing to criticize the Netanyahu government's actions, though. Joining in now in popular Israeli protests against the government's judicial amendments, economics and banking leaders, as well as over 100 major businesses. Two former governors of the Bank of Israel, for example, Karnit Pflug and Jakob Frenkel, warning Sunday that the overhaul would have a negative snowball effect, lowering Israel's credit rating and dealing a severe blow to the economy and Israeli citizens. In a joint op-ed, the pair alleging that, quote, the weakening of the judiciary system is expected to lead to a decrease in the willingness of foreign investors to invest in Israel and an increase in the cost of raising funds for the Israeli government as a result of the possible downgrading in the country's credit rating. Meantime, taking a more active approach, some 130 Israeli high-tech companies in Israel announcing a strike that will last for several hours on Tuesday, as well as additional demonstrations Thursday. This as a, quote, warning to the Israeli government that the regime change will not fly, end quote. The Joint Committee of the organizations writing that despite the economic costs, we are taking the first step to make it clear that the State of Israel will not be a dictatorship because it will not function for even a day without the central backbone of the Israeli economy and Israeli society. Proponents of the deal, however, dismissing the economic claims and continued to point to the court's overreach and activism as why it's necessary to pass these reforms. In fact, as similarly pointed out in a recent Wall Street Journal editorial, even the court's recent ruling to fire Aryeh Deri as a minister is reason enough to prove the need for improved checks and balances. This as the court ruled it unreasonable in the extreme to appoint Deri in light of his previous convictions, but could not point directly to any law that backed up their conclusions.